What happens when love, loyalty, and temptation collide after 7 years together? That's the question people can't stop asking after the shocking breakup of Lars Pacheco and Clyde Vivas, a couple many thought would last forever. Lars, the trans beauty queen who captured hearts on national TV, stunned everyone by admitting to not just one, but 3 instances of betrayal.
I'm in the midst of a controversy up until now. I made a confession that I cheated on my 7-year boyfriend.
The man who stood by her side for nearly a decade says he only learned the truth after waking up to a long message that ended everything. But how did their fairy tale romance turn into a headline-grabbing heartbreak? Why did Lars feel the need to confess her darkest mistakes so publicly? And what really happened on those nights she now admits she'll never be proud of? By the end of this video, you'll know the full story. From their rise as an inspiring couple, to the emotional confessions that left fans divided, and the lessons this breakup reveals about love, honesty, and the price of mistakes. Because this isn't just about one relationship falling apart, it's about how trust, once broken, can change everything.
So anong una mong ginawa pagkatapos mo mabasa yung message niya?
Hanap ko siya. Nag-anxiety ako, Mauji. Nabaliw ako.
Before we dive into the confessions that shocked everyone, let's rewind and understand who Lars and Clyde really are. Because to grasp why this breakup hit so hard, you need to see how much they once meant to each other. And to the people watching from the outside, Lars Pacheco first became a household name in the Philippines when she stepped onto the stage of It's Showtime's Miss Q and A segment. With her wit, charisma, and unshakable confidence as a proud trans woman, she quickly stood out, not just as a beauty queen, but as someone who could break barriers in mainstream media.
But if I do it my way, I will use my voice. I will shout, I will cry, I will laugh, and I will whisper.
She didn't just compete. She became a symbol of courage and representation. Later, she would go on to represent the Philippines on an even bigger stage. Miss International Queen 2023, where she impressively placed in the top 6. Through it all, Lars projected strength, elegance, and determination. But away from the spotlight, she had someone who made that journey less lonely. Clyde Vivas. Unlike Lars, Clyde wasn't from the world of showbiz. He wasn't chasing fame. He wasn't trying to become a public figure. Yet he became deeply admired by fans simply because of how he loved Lars. For 7 years, Clyde was there, supportive, loyal, always present. He appeared in photos and snippets of their lives shared online, and people admired the way he accepted Lars fully and openly. To many, they weren't just another couple. They were proof that love could thrive despite the pressure of fame, despite society's judgment, despite everything. That's what made the relationship so compelling. Lars represented visibility and courage in the LGBTQ+ community, while Clyde embodied the quiet strength of someone who loved without conditions. They became aspirational, a story people pointed to when they wanted to believe in enduring love. But here's the thing about perfect images. Sometimes they hide the cracks underneath. While the outside world saw a couple who seemed unshakable, Lars was carrying emotions and conflicts that weren't visible on Instagram or in interviews. And eventually, those hidden feelings would lead her to decisions that not only broke Clyde's heart, but also shattered the image of their love story.
Hindi ko na rin papahabain pa. Gusto ko rin malaman nyo kung ano yung side ko nung nalaman ko yung lahat.
Because as strong as their bond seemed, what happened next would reveal just how fragile even the most inspiring relationships can be. After 7 years of being together, 7 years of shared milestones, inside jokes, travels, and countless photos that painted a picture of forever, Lars broke the news publicly. In a heartfelt but brief message, she revealed that her relationship with Clyde had come to an end.
Yan, so I really want to end this all today. Lahat ng questions, lahat ng kakahaka.
It wasn't just a quiet goodbye whispered between 2 people. It was a statement to the world. The announcement immediately shook their followers. Social media lit up with comments of shock, sadness, and confusion. How could a couple that seemed so strong, so stable, suddenly fall apart? For many fans, Lars and Clyde weren't just individuals. They represented hope. Seeing that hope collapse in real time felt personal. What made the announcement even more striking was its tone.
So the first time, it was in Makati. We're drinking with a friend, just the two of us. And then it's almost 6 a.m. in the morning. I was really drunk.
Lars didn't frame it as a simple, "we grew apart," or "things just didn't work out." Instead, her words carried weight, almost as if there was something more beneath the surface. People instantly began speculating. What had really happened? Why would she open up about such a private matter in such a public way? It wasn't long before those questions would be answered, because Lars hadn't just ended the relationship. She was about to reveal the painful, messy truth behind why it all unraveled. And that confession, raw, unexpected, and deeply personal, would leave everyone stunned. But the breakup announcement was only the surface. What came next was the revelation that truly shocked everyone. Lars openly admitting that she had betrayed Clyde's trust not once, but 3 separate times.
And hindi ko sinasabi kasi proud ako. Hindi ko rin alam kung ano nangyari.
In a video that spread quickly online, Lars spoke with a mix of regret and determination. She didn't want rumors to twist the truth. She didn't want her side of the story to be based on whispers. So she took accountability, saying in her own words, "I'm not proud of it, but I did cheat." The first instance, she explained, happened in Makati. A night out, a few drinks, and an encounter with a Taiwanese national that ended in a decision she instantly regretted.
And it happened because, of course, I chose it to happen. And then,
Lars admitted it wasn't just the alcohol. It was a choice she made, and one that would haunt her later. The second was less physical, but equally damaging. While out of town, she met someone at a bar. They didn't become intimate, but they exchanged numbers, and before long, Lars realized she was developing feelings. It wasn't about the frequency of their conversations, it was the spark, the colleague. She admitted she no longer felt in her relationship with Clyde.
I just fall in love with him without talking. I mean, we didn't even have a phone call.
And then there was the third, perhaps the most painful of all. Lars confessed that she asked Clyde to drop her off so she could secretly meet with someone else, a man from Portugal. At the time, Clyde had no idea. He thought he was simply helping his partner, never suspecting that he was being led into heartbreak. Each confession was like another crack in the image of their perfect relationship. Fans listened in disbelief as Lars laid it all bare. This wasn't the sanitized version of a breakup most public figures give. This was raw, unfiltered truth. The kind of honesty that makes people uncomfortable but impossible to ignore. And while Lars admitted her faults, the world couldn't help but wonder, how did Clyde take all of this?
Sinasabi nila sa akin, batugan ako. Kaya daw umalis si Lars sa akin sa 7 years dahil tamad daw akong tao. Gusto ko linawin ngayon, nababash ako.
What was going through his mind as the love of his life confessed to betraying him 3 times? The answer would come soon enough, in Clyde's own words. If Lars's confession was raw, Clyde's reaction was heartbreaking. Because while the world was processing the shock of her admissions, he was living the pain in real time. In his own statement, Clyde revealed that he didn't learn about the breakup through a face-to-face conversation.
Ang nagdedesisyon, asan ka doon?
Maoji, sa totoo lang, never ako nagdesisyon sa amin dalawa.
Instead, he woke up one morning to a long message from Lars. A message that not only ended their relationship, but also left him blindsided. "Iniwan mo ko habang natutulog ako," he wrote. "You left me while I was asleep." Those words captured the depth of his shock. After 7 years together, after everything they had shared, the ending came in silence, while he was unaware. For Clyde, it wasn't just the betrayal itself. It was the way he was cut out of the final chapter of their story. Not anger, but grief. He spoke about memories, the small joys, and the bond they once had. He admitted to being deeply hurt, but instead of fueling hate, he asked people not to bash Lars. In the middle of his heartbreak, he still showed compassion for the person who had hurt him the most. That's what made his words resonate. Clyde's pain was visible, but so was his character. People could see the conflict. A man who loved deeply, who was broken by betrayal, but who still wanted to protect the dignity of the one he had loved. And it's this emotional fallout that truly captured the public's attention because it showed the human side of a scandal.
Lahat naman ng tao nagkakamali, wala namang taong perpekto nga, di ba? Ayun nga yung mga kasabihan natin, di ba, na talagang totoo talaga.
But as the dust settled, one question remained. What exactly led to this? What pushed Lars to search for feelings elsewhere, even while in a long-term relationship with someone so devoted? The answers, as Lars herself explained, revealed the hidden cracks beneath their picture-perfect love. Clyde's heartbreak raised the question everyone wanted answered. Why? Why would Lars risk losing someone who had been by her side for so long? In her candid confession, Lars admitted that the problem wasn't just about temptation or chance encounters. It went deeper.
That's the reason, that's the best. That's the huge part of the decision.
She spoke about losing the killig, that spark, that feeling of being seen and valued. Over time, she said she began to feel less important in the relationship, and that emptiness opened the door to mistakes she now regrets. The irony is heartbreaking. While Clyde thought he was giving her stability, Lars was longing for the excitement that stability had replaced. It was a clash between comfort and passion, love and desire. And ultimately, it pushed their relationship past the point of no return. And so, after the lessons were laid bare, the natural question followed. What happens now for Lars and Clyde? For Lars, the immediate focus has been accountability and healing. In her video, she stressed that she wasn't sharing her confession to win sympathy, but to close a painful chapter honestly. As for Clyde, his path forward is different. In his message, he spoke about the pain of being blindsided, but also hinted at the need to move on. His request for people to stop attacking Lars shows he doesn't want his future tied to bitterness. Together, they're no longer the couple fans once idolized, but separately, they stand at a crossroads. Lars confronting the consequences of her choices, and Clyde beginning life after betrayal. But even with all that said, one final question remains. What does this story really mean beyond just the breakup? And in the end, that's what makes this story so unforgettable. It isn't just about a breakup. It's about love, trust, mistakes, and the painful cost of honesty. Lars Pacheco and Clyde Vivas once stood as a symbol of hope. A couple people thought could withstand anything. But their story shows that even the strongest-looking relationships can break when communication fades and choices go unspoken. Clyde walks away with heartbreak, but also with grace, while Lars faces the consequences of her decisions with raw accountability. For the rest of us, it's a reminder that love is fragile and trust is priceless. Once it's broken, it can change everything. So here's the question to leave you with. When it comes to love, is brutal honesty always the best path? Or are some truths too heavy to survive? If you found this story eye-opening, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more deep dives into today's most talked about stories, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. And let me know in the comments, do you think Lars made the right choice by confessing, or should some truths stay hidden?